Recording in progress.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naranchaiva Narottamam
Naranchaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Nyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Dayamudiraye
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttama Sloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktin Bhavatirnaistiki
Bhaktin Bhavati Naistaki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, text number 7, 267. The canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation and the chapter name is Purusha Shupta Confirmed. Please repeat the sloka behind me. Vikramo bhūr bhuvaḥ svaś
Vikramo bhūr svaś
kṣemasya śaraṇasya ca
kṣemasya śaraṇasya cha
sarva-kāma-varasyāpi
sarva-kāma-varasyāpi
hareś āspadam.
hareś āspadam.
Word by word meaning, please repeat behind me. Vikramaḥ,
Vikramaḥ,
forward steps.
forward steps.
Bhūḥ,
Bhūḥ,
of the lower and upper planets.
of the lower and upper planets.
Svaḥ,
Svaḥ,
as well as of heaven.
as well as of heaven.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Kṣemasya,
Kṣemasya,
of production of all that we have.
of protection of all that we have.
caraṇasya,
śaraṇasya,
of fearlessness.
of fearlessness.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
sarva-kāma,
sarva-kāma,
all that we need.
all that we need.
Varasya,
Varasya,
of all benedictions.
all benedictions.
Api,
Api,
exactly.
exactly.
Hareḥ,
Hareḥ,
of the Lord.
of the Lord.
caraṇaḥ,
caraṇaḥ,
the lotus feet.
the lotus feet.
āspadam,
āspadam,
shelter.
shelter.
Translation and purport by Zirvengre Sabaya Charnavrinda A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation, please repeat behind me. Thus the forward steps of the Lord
forward steps of the Lord
are the shelter for the upper, lower and heavenly planets,
upper, lower, and heavenly planets,
as well as for all that we need.
all that we need.
His lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fear. Purport. For absolute protection from all sort of fear, as well as for all our needs of life, we must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Not only in this planet, but also in all the upper, lower, and heavenly planets. This absolute dependence on the lotus feet of the Lord is called pure devotional service, and it is directly hinted at within this passage. No one should have any kind of doubt in this matter, nor should one be inclined to seek the help of any other demigods, because all of them are depend on him only. Everyone except the Lord himself is depend on the mercy of the Lord. Even the all-pervading Supersoul is also depend on the supreme aspect of Bhagavān, the personality of Godhead. Om Dasa. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshul Munidamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ite Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashasha Desha Dharane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhrityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So this is the continuation of the discussion between Brahma and Narada. So the previous chapter also we saw the cause of all causes, Brahmaji explaining about the opulences of the Supreme Lord, and he started explaining the Virat Rupa of the Supreme Lord. Till the previous sloka, he was explaining about one by one the parts of the body of the Lord, Supreme Virat Rupa of the Lord, and how it is considered in the material world. Now, in the today's sloka, Brahma, he was talking about the footsteps, the forward steps of the Lord. So, the forward steps of the steps of the Lord, that is the shelter for, he was saying that all the three worlds, upper planetary system, lower planetary system, and heavenly planets, or for all the planetary systems. So, for whatever they need, for all of them, who is the only shelter? The lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is the only shelter. And also he is saying that his lotus feet serve as protection from all kind of fear. So that is very much important because he is talking about fear. His lotus feet, so when you surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, it will give the all kind of protections, all kind of, it is protect from the all kind of fears. So if we have there are three kind of things are there in this material world. We have kama, and we have that fear and lobha. So these three things which is keeping us in this material world, always we will have everyone, even the irrespective of the species, all the animals also having this, all this propensity. So in order, the fear is the major one for everyone. Even though if you see there is a small bird, if it is coming to your house, near to your house, if you put some grains, put grains, what it will do? It will come and it will take one grain and it will by in the fear, it will see here and there all the directions, then again it will go and take another thing. So it is always be in the fear. If any enemies will come and attack me, like that fear, even though the same thing will be for animals also is there in the forest. Always they are in the fear mode only. Because which animal will come and it attack me, irrespective of whether it is a lion also. Because lion also sometimes attacked by other animals. So all the animals, irrespective of any upper, lower, small, big, each and every animals also they are in the fearful mood only. Always they with fear only they will go and take their food, and with fear only they will go and take their water. Because even while drinking water also the crocodile will come and they will catch up the animals. So there also there is no certainty for their life. So once they are coming out from their nest or coming out from their caves, there is no certainty for the animals to go back to home and their home in the evening. So that is the way, that's the reason all the animals they are always in the fear. And even our living entity, we are also, the human being also in that, the same kind of fear we are also having. Always we will be in the fear. We will get any accident will happen or not, and we will be in the loss or not, whether my job will be there or not, whether my disease will go or not. Always we also be in the anxiety of fear. So this karma and fear, it won't go out of us until unless we are taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So in order to eradicate these things, we need to firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. We need to have the conviction that the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is the only shelter that as specified by Brahma, it can protect from all of the fears. So when we are getting into the devotional activities, devotional service, the kama, lobha, and this bhaya, everything will go away from us when we are getting firm and every day by day, with getting into firm in the devotional activities, we will also go away one step, each and every day we will go away from all these three things. But when the devotee, who is unalloyed, who is doing the unalloyed devotional service, who is pure in doing the devotional service, that time all these things are vanished from that person. So even in Krishna also is talking about this saranagati, it is surrenderness in multiple places in Bhagavad Gita, as well as there are some other devotees. Sanatana Goswami, he also explained in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. So we'll discuss about that. So in Bhagavad Gita 15.19 sloka, here Krishna, what he is saying, we will see. Yo mam evam asammudo janadi purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. So Krishna is saying here, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So what is the knowing thing? What we need to know in this material world? When we are coming in this material world, why we came over here? To learn the lesson. What is the lesson? Supreme Personality of Godhead is the one who, once we understand about Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the whole and soul, he is the cause of all causes, he is the Supreme. We have to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. We have to serve to the Supreme Lord. When a person know the knower of these things, what will happen? He is the knower of everything. That's what Krishna is declaring. So we don't want to think about, I'm not studied this, I'm not studied that. Those are all the material things, immaterial to in front of the spiritual study. So the spiritual knowledge, when you know about the Supreme Lord, all the other knowledge, which are mundane knowledges, whatever we are studying, we are proud of, all the other knowledges, nothing in front of the Supreme knowledge. So the person who is knower of the Supreme Lord, and knower of Supreme Lord is the whole and soul, that person, what he will do? He will engage himself in the full devotional service, unalloyed devotional service, getting into the unalloyed devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Krishna himself is confirming that in Bhagavad Gita. Also, when he talk about the saranagati, the surrenderness, in the 18th chapter, the Bhagavad Gita, last 18th chapter, finally what he was talking about, saranagati, 18.66, sarva-dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja agam tvam sarva papepyo mokshasyami ma suchaka. So Krishna is saying that finally to Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So here also Krishna talking about the fear. You don't want to fear for anything when you surrender to my lotus feet. And also here Krishna is saying that mam ekam sharanam vraja. So it is said that mam ekam means you need to surrender unto me only. You need to surrender unto my lotus feet only. And Krishna is confirming that he does not just that surrender unto the anyone, any of the demigods. It is not saying that. He is saying that surrender unto me only. So that is the word we need to note. And in South India, when we went to the yatra, there also we went to the temple there, the Uppiliyappan temple. There is a temple called Uppiliyappan temple. In that temple, you can see even all the Vishnu Murtis who are all standing, one of their hand will be like the abhaya, that means giving the abhaya, and another hand, it is showing downwards to the lotus feet of the Lord. It is pointing to the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord's hands, it will be like that. That position, that pose, Lord will be there. Even the Tirupati also, you can see Lord is showing his hands in that downwards to show his surrender unto me. You need to come and surrender unto me. That's what Lord is also posing. So in the Uppiliyappan temple, there we can see in his hand, it is written there, the same thing, same words. Mam ekam saranam raja. So you surrender unto me my lotus feet only. That's what Lord is saying in that temple. So all the Vishnu Murtis who are standing, you can see that pose. One is his abhaya and another one is showing his lotus feet. She surrender unto my lotus feet. So when we surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, what will happen? All this Bhava Sagara, this Samsara Sagara, it will be nothing in front of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So there is nothing we need to fear about that also. That is what Krishna is clearly he is saying that do not fear. It is not necessary to say do not fear. But Krishna pointing out that you do not fear. You are abandon all varieties of religion. Surrender unto me only. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So this is very, very, very important Sharanagati sloka. This is the whole and soul. After reading Bhagavad Gita, this is the thing we are supposed to understand. Whom we need to surrender. The Supreme Lord we have to surrender. What we have to do? We have to abandon all varieties of religion. Going, do this, do that, do multiple varieties of demigods temples going, and for the sake of getting some material benefits, we are going, multiple people are going, multiple demigod temples, Monday this temple, Tuesday this temple, Wednesday this temple. Where it come close, all these kind of varieties of religions. That's what Krishna is saying. Surrender unto me only, I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. We don't want to fear. So abandon all the varieties of religion and do not fear. This is when it will happen, when you surrender to the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord, lotus feet, is the only shelter for all of us. So our aim always in the concentrate to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And also, since we are having that kama and lobha and bhaya in our heart, we are not fully convinced the Supreme Lord, convinced about to surrender to the Supreme Lord. We are in the process. So whenever we are going and seeing the Lord in the temple also, we should not see the Lord directly. First of all, always our focus should be when we enter a temple, first we'll do the Dandavat Pranam and will be enter to the Sanctum Sanctorium. There, when we saw the Lord, first we need to see the Lord's lotus feet first. Then we need to come to the feet of the legs and thighs, the hip, Lord's hip, and then Lord's stomach, then Lord's chest, the Lord's arms, then the Lord's face, lotus face. Then we need to see. So like that, we need to take the darshan of the Lord from the downwards to upwards, because we are not qualified to see the Lord directly. So we have to see the Lord in the part by part, starting from the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is the way we have to take the darshan. So we remember that whenever we are entering any temple, we have to see the Supreme Lord in that way, from lotus feet to end with the head. Then we need to see the Lord fully. So this is the procedure we have to see. Because we are not qualified. We are not at, we have the kama, lobha, and bhaya, everything we have in our heart. We are not fully convinced with the surrender to the Supreme Lord. That is the reason we have to see the Lord in that way. And in Hari Bhakti Vilas and Sanatana Goswami, he is talking about the surrender, the Saranagati. So how the Saranagati should be. So we can see this in the same thing is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, sloka number 100. So here we can see Anukulasya Sangalpaha Pratikulasya Varjanam Dakshishyatiti Vishvaso Goptravvi Varanam Tata Atmanikshepa Karpanye Sadvida Saranagadihi. So he is talking about, this is the Saranagadi, very, very important sloka. Whenever getting into the deep study of in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, we will take this sloka is very important instruction for all of us. So what he is saying, we can see here. The 6 divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service, the rejection of unfavorable things, the conviction that Krishna will give protection, the acceptance of Lord as one of the guardian or master, full self-surrender, and humility. These are the 6 divisions of surrender to the Supreme Lord. So we have to follow this 6 varieties, 6 points in our day-to-day activities, so that we can get into the slowly we can get into the full surrenderness to the Supreme Lord. So what are the things? First, he is talking about the accepting of those things favorable to devotional service. So the Prabhupada is explaining over here in the purport. So one who is fully surrendered is qualified with 6 following characteristics. So our characteristics should be these 6. So what are those 6? We can see here. First point, Prabhupada is explaining the devotees has to accept everything that is favorable for rendering of transcendental loving service to the Lord. Whatever the favorable situation, whatever the favorable things are coming to the worshipping the Supreme Lord and doing devotional service, we have to accept everything. So somebody, if we are going to entering a temple and somebody saying that to clean that place, so you should not immediately feel that, oh, I am a great devotee of the Lord. How can I am the great scholar? I'm working at so and so company. I'm a big manager or big director. How can I do this menial work? We should not think that. That is the favorable God is doing to you to do the supersoul service. He's giving the devotional service voluntarily. So we have to accept that. That is the way we have to accept whatever favorable for the devotional service. It is for the in the devotional service, the cleaning work, whatever you are doing, for outsiders, for the mundane people and the mundane world, doing the cleaning work is the menial thing. And in the devotional service also, there is no categories like this is the menial work, this is the great work, this is the topmost work. There is no categories like that. All the works, services, whether you are preaching, you are giving the class, or you are cleaning the temple, or cleaning the vessels, or you are doing the cooking, or doing the bhajan, or doing the deity worship, anything, or you are doing the garland, all the services are equally considered. That is called, that's why it is called this is whatever the services we are getting, that is our, we should to take it as the favorable and do that. So there is no difference between the person who is cleaning the temple and the person who is worshipping the deity in the temple. There is no difference in that. So that is the reason we have to accept all the favorable situation to do that. But if it is coming to us to render service to the Supreme Lord, we should not feel that I cannot do this. This is not my work. We should not come. When you enter the temple, we need to keep away all of our designations. Whatever the designation, I am the working in this IT company, or I am the owner of this house, or owner of this big land. All those designations we need to keep it away outside, because we are just using that. Whatever everything is belongs to the Supreme Lord. We are just using that. Even then, in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Krishna is saying that sarvasya chagam hridi sannivisto mattaga smididhanam apohanam cha vedaischa charve ragam yeda vedyo vedanta krit vedavit atyev chagam. So Krishna is saying that the three things, the remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge, these three things are coming from me. So we should not proud of even of our knowledge also. Yes, that is also coming from the Supreme Lord. So all the designations, when you enter into the temple, are always, it is not only into the temple. Whenever we are here, we need to remember always, we are not this, all the designations, it is all of the things are just a designations. We need to, this is all the things are false. I am the owner of this house. That is also false, because you are not the owner. Next, in the future, once you die, somebody else will take care of this. So you are not going to be a owner of continuously. And also, this entire world, when there's a pralaya, everything will be destroyed. That time, who is the owner? Supreme Lord is the owner. So Supreme Lord is the owner of, always Supreme Lord is the owner. We are just temporarily, we are trying to show that I am the owner of this land, piece of land, and owner of this house. So the ownership mentality we should keep away. So that we need to think the ownership designation, and the proud of our material opulences, proud of our material education, all those designations we need to keep away. Then we can enter the devotional service properly. So that is the favorable situation to enter the devotional service. That's what Sanatana Goswami is saying. The second point, he is saying that he must reject everything unfavorable to the Lord's service. This is called renunciation. He must reject everything unfavorable to the Lord's service. So if something is unfavorable, we have to reject that. So asat sanga tyaga, that is another word. Asat sanga. Asat sanga means which are when we are associate with please associate with only the devotees. Don't associate with the non-devotees. If you are having the sangha with the non-devotees, what will happen? They will drive away from the Supreme Lord. They will drive away from the devotional activities. So that is the unfavorable situation. So associate with the non-devotees. So we need to, what we need to do? We need to reject the unfavorable situation. So we should not associate with the materialistic people or non-devotees, because they will drive away our bhakti. So this is the second point. So third point, what he is saying that the devotee must be firmly convinced that Krishna will give him protection. So always we need to have Krishna will protect me. We should have the conviction that Krishna will protect me any situation. In the life, any situation, we have to have the Krishna will protect me. Because even the I'm seeing that you can see that people will say that if somebody's the small kid, some problem will happen. Even they are Sanatana, they are Hindus, they are Sanatanis, they will say that go to the dargah and ask him to put the water. The people, they are thinking that when we go to the dargah, they will rectify this problem. We should have the conviction that Supreme Lord will take care of this. Even for ourselves or others who are surrounding us, we are dependent on us. Everyone will be protected by the Supreme Lord. That conviction, 100% we should have at any situation. Even though the life-threatening situation also, that time also we need to say, if Lord wanted to protect me, he will protect. That conviction we should have. And fourth point, he is saying, what is Krishna is saying that? The Prabhupada, Sanatana Goswami is saying that the devotee should accept Krishna as his supreme maintainer and master. So we should think that he is the supreme maintainer and master. We don't want to go to each and every demigod. We don't want to go to demigod for our education. We don't want to go to the other demigod to get the good job or good salary and good wife, good children. Don't want to go to the demigods. Everything, the order, who is the supplier? We should not think that God is the order supplier. When you surrender to the Supreme Lord, he will give whatever the things which are required to us. So we should have that conviction. But still, if you want to ask something, you can ask the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is our Supreme Father. So you don't want to say, kind of in your house, if something you want in your childhood, we asked our father only. We never asked our uncle, our auntie, go and ask, okay, I want this, I want that. They may give or they may not give. But our Supreme Father, he knows that whether it is required for this person or not, or whether it is qualified and whether it is required, then he will give. Or if it will make the harm, then Lord won't give. So that conviction only Supreme Father has. So whatever we want, we should ask the Supreme. We have to always we have this conviction that we should accept that the Supreme Lord is Krishna is the maintainer and the master. And the fifth, what is saying that self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. So all of there is self-surrender. My desires, my activities, always connected with Krishna only. So whatever the activities I'm doing, I'm not doing for my sense gratification. I'm doing for satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. That way, and whatever desiring, we are desiring means we are going to, I wanted to go this picnic, that picnic. Instead of that, I want to go to this dham, that dham, so that we can understand, we can go and see the Supreme Lord there, take the darshan of the Lord and take the knowledge from the sadhus rendering there. So we need to change our activities and the desires, and all the activities are not independent. All the activities are dependent on Krishna only. That conviction also we should have. So last one is the sixth one. The devotee is meek and humble. So the devotee should be always meek and humble. This should be humbleness. The humility is one of the ornament for the devotee of the Lord. So that's why it is called para dukkha dukki. So if somebody is having the problem, then the devotee also feel the problem, whether whether the person you know that person or not, or he may be your enemy. There is no enemy for the devotee in this material world. There should not be any enemy at all, because the devotee have the conviction that all are the important parts of the Supreme Lord, all are the souls, and they are put into the particular situation to go back to Godhead. So that conviction the devotee has. So the devotee, not thinking that anybody is the enemy. He always, he is always humble with everyone. That is the quality of the devotee. So these are the 6 characteristics which required to surrender the Supreme Lord. That's what Sanatana Goswami is explaining. So today's sloka, we discussed about the surrender to the Supreme Lord, the complete surrender to the Supreme Lord, Supreme Lord Lotus feet. And here Brahma also explaining that all the 3 planetary systems, upper, lower, and heavenly planets, all are under the shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. And we also, we can, when you take the shelter of the product, when you take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, what will happen? We don't want to fear for anything. All of our fears can be eradicated. So that is the power of the Supreme Lord lotus feet. So we have to always meditate upon the Supreme Lord lotus feet and trying to surrender whatever the points we discussed in the 6 points, 6 characteristics. We need to try to adopt that kind of characteristics, aspire to get into the characteristics, so that we'll try it. First, we need to we need to imitate at least. Whether we are not able to completely, we have to do that. What are the 6 characteristics? At least imitate, and later one day we will be adopt that. If you are imitate, at least so fake it till you make it. There is a proverb also. Fake it till you make it. So even though initially we are unable to do that, but at least we try to fake way also do that, so that one day you will make it. So today's lesson is about Saranagati. It is very, very important for Bhakti. Hare Krishna. Randaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai.